major record labels are a Ponzi scheme. I have an album, Jose sold 2 million records. When I get my statement from the major label 20 years later, I still owe them money.
They have folks that are there to ensure you always get the short end of the stick.
DIY.
Okay, DIYers, over the last week, in the midst of all this controversy, Fat Joe had a conversation with Forbes, and as they were asking him about his career and how he's been able to evolve and get into other business ventures outside of just his rap career, they asked him a question about advice that he would have for up-and-coming artists or independent artists. And I thought what he said was really interesting because it started a little bit of mini controversy that he explains in another clip. So here's Fat Joe having a conversation with Forbes. This is what he said.
What is one piece of advice that you would give to an artist who knows nothing about the music business that you have learned?
Listen, social media is free. You can press one button and your life change in one night.
Yeah.
TikTok, everywhere. Number 2 is stay independent. I don't trust the big record companies, the so-called major labels. It's just a bank loaning you money with pretty much criminal interests. And so if I tried that, I'd probably go to jail.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You think he said too much? It's interesting. This video only has 3.9 thousand views in 3 weeks for a channel with 1.5 million subscribers. That's a hefty statement. Is it me, or does it feel like artists that have found success in that motto are becoming more and more, you can argue, risky with their word choice, or even just more revealing about their experiences in this? He just basically said that they're getting away with things that if the tables were turned, even though it's just business, he probably wouldn't be a free man. He probably would get locked up for it.
So stay independent, own your own masters, and it's gonna be a little bit harder. But when you succeed, you'll be the smartest person around. I don't believe in funny math. You know, whenever I do business with anybody, the minute I see something funny, I don't want to deal with it no more. Now, I might have more leverage than other people, but the minute you show me trick verbiage or math, or you're playing around with me, to me, I just immediately perceive you as dishonest. And I've been robbed enough in my life that I can't be 53 years old getting robbed. So the best way to go is owning your own masters, being independent, work harder, get out there, network, stay on social media, and if you succeed, the world is yours.
Absolutely.
Man, of course, with a statement like he made about some of the illegal activity, and even at some point in this interview comparing it to a Ponzi scheme, of course, questions were produced asking him what he meant specifically about what he said. He elaborated on this in a live stream that was on his Instagram. Shout out to the Hip Hop Wolf for clipping this. He elaborates on this and a little bit of something else that was kind of crazy. Check it out.
Forbes said, Joe, come through, let's talk about business. Well, in the business, they asked me, independent or major? And I said, the major record labels are a Ponzi scheme. What does that mean, Joe? It means that when you, as smart as me, and you've been around long enough as me, you realize that it's just like a bank. Most of the time, they take a kid, they grew up in the projects, baby, that's talented. And so here you go, they give you money up to make your album or whatever. Though they make the profit of the records, they charge you whatever they spend on the video. It ain't like we 50-50 partners. They pay half of the video, we pay half of it. Look, at the end of the day, the math, you could bring a scientist who wins the Nobel Peace Prize to do the accounting on major labels' math, and they always can't figure it out. And so it's robbery all the way through. And you sing your life, your pain, your this, that, and they own your shit. So that's why I say it's a Ponzi scheme. I sold 2 million records, still ain't recouped. I have an album, Jose sold 2 million records. When I get my statement from the major label 20 years later, I still owe them money.
What?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Without knowing the details of such a deal, how does one sell 2 million records and 20 years later still owes them money? I think we can get more information on that in this next clip. This was another video that dropped this week, which was a conversation between Matt Hoffa and Joyner Lucas. And he kind of starts to give details. You know, we can complain about, and I saw the comments in even that last video clip, people are like, man, 12 years later, now you want to tell us this kind of stuff? I don't think people understand that when you're in the circumstances, you don't want to do things, first of all, to your own detriment, right? You're trying to make the most out of the situation because you signed on, you got a commitment. Secondly, you don't want to get blackballed, which is a very easy thing to get done in that industry, if you don't have the optics of being now in your 50s to look back and say, damn, that's what that's called in business, and that's what they did to me, because they have the best of the lawyers in the business. They understand all of the loopholes that exist. They have some of the, you know what I'm saying? They have folks that are there specifically to ensure you always get the short end of the stick. We get even more details in a weird way. It's connected here to a completely different artist of a completely different era. And Joyner Lucas, he's talking right now about what happened to him when he had his label deal and his lack of support he had. Check it out.
I gotta have a complete budget for it, like production budget. I gotta get permits. I gotta get all this extra shit to be able to shoot right here. Right? That's a lot of time wasted. It takes weeks to just put all that together, right? So he was the type of person where he come up with the video first and then come up with the song. So he's already directed the video in his head, like what he wants to do, storyboarded it mentally, what he wants to go shoot. Now he go create the record. So by the time he creates the record, he's like, yo, we're shooting. When? Tomorrow.
Now think about all that work he just described, Joyner Lucas. And Joyner Lucas has a very brilliant mind when it comes to music video creation. A lot of the ideas he did, especially from a storytelling standpoint, were very innovative in the time that he started to emerge in this industry. But think about how creative, as the gentleman is describing, how creative Joyner Lucas had to be in order to even get the opportunity to get funding on some of these ideas. It's crazy how many people on the outside judge an artist and say they fell off or they're no longer relevant, and they don't recognize how very little control they have over the tools that they should have access to for visibility.
So we would have to front the bread to go shoot it, because if we waited on the label, we'd be
take them 5 months for them to pay.
we wouldn't get nowhere.
Wow,
So most artists
that's
that's taking a
that's
deal,
crazy.
right? Most artists taking a deal, they're taking it for that bread that they're gonna invest in them, right? But they get stalled out. Because if they don't got the money themselves to actually put in, then that label is gonna take 30, net 60, whatever it is to pay you out.
So
So you better have cash flow.
Now, I was presented to net 60 as a term a lot of times I saw literally through sponsors, right? Where sponsors will basically have a contract for, this is when they expect certain work to be done for me as a content creator, and this is the sort of window of time before I'm going to actually get paid. The 60 stands for the days. There's net 30, there's net 90. Frustrating thing. So he's talking about when you're coming into a label situation, if you don't already have funding, right, from your own work that you've done independently, in combination to the money that you're waiting for, then these labels are literally stalling you out. And it can be even argued that they're stunning your growth and your momentum that originally made them want to sign you. Now you're probably even having executives that are telling you what you can or can't do because now you're signed on as an artist to their label and they have plans for how they do things, and you end up getting handcuffed to the point where these deals start looking less like bank loans and more like credit card agreements, where these credit card companies want you to accrue interest. They want you to pay them back more than what they gave you had to have access to. Maybe some of this stalling isn't unintentional.
If I need to shoot a video right now and I'm signed to a label, there's not like a discretionary fund I can use to go and
just like that.
Go grab the bread. If it costs 50, 60,000 to shoot it, I can grab the bread from there and shoot the video. Instead, you have to call them, tell them what you're trying to do, and they're like, all right, bet. And then let's just say if I didn't have the bread to shoot it, I'd be waiting like 4 or 5 months for them to get
Well,
me
no,
the bread.
4 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, maybe. There was one invoice that did take about that long. So,
even if it's 4 weeks that you're having to wait for that funding, that's 4 weeks to get started. 4 weeks for in this example, create a video that may take another week or two to actually shoot. His videos are pretty elaborate. You're shooting the video, you're going through the editing process, the color grading and all these things. Then you got to get approval Like these type of things where there's a little friction when you're independent because it's just you and the person that actually created the content that are making the decisions like, hey, we can put this out tomorrow, right? The whole process maybe takes a week or 2 weeks if you wanted to because you're funding it. That slows down the momentum and it also changes, I think, the ingredients to the success that got you on the radar of these labels to begin with. So they're messing with the secret recipe and it doesn't make any sense because it's like, aren't you trying to make a profit? Aren't you trying to make money in this? Sometimes the comeback is quieter than the exit. Extended Warranty isn't just another album drop. It's the sound of dedication, crafted right here in the heart of my home. It's where I rap, produce, mix, master, and even perform shows. It's kind of like my personal Amazon for art directly to you. In Extended Warranty, every track, especially favorites like I Told My Wife. I haven't told my wife I wanna rap again. Stand as a chapter of renewal at 39 years of age. This, of course, is my promise to you, this craft, after sharing 9 years of knowledge on YouTube. Now I'm channeling all that energy back into music. And as you know, this means no streaming platforms. Just us. And to my supporters, this music, this vision, this success, it's alive because of you. Here's to the art that fuels us, the journeys we share, and the revolution that is just getting started. Get your exclusive copy of Extended Warranty at CurtisKing.com.
You're not wrong, but I'm just saying it would take a long time before you do it. And by then you're like, bro, most of the time when you're building a career, you're moving off of posts and moments, right? So you're creating these moments, and so you can't move like that. You can't store him as an artist for fucking 4 weeks to shoot this when we could have it out. You know what I'm saying? So we're fronting all the bread and getting reimbursed. So partner, the label, is fronting all the bread and we're getting reimbursed, right? And we're growing. And I'm like, bro, this is so dumb. Like we're growing by taking a loan out over here. You know what I'm saying?
That we already
and we're
have.
getting 16%. If we spend $100,000, they've got a distribution fee, 20%, before you get into your actual deal. So that's gone. So now you got 80,000. Now you're getting 16% of the 80,000. So wherever you're left off at, 13, whatever it is, right? Okay. So you spent 100, you got 13,000. Your recruitment is coming from that 13,000.
Yeah. They're pocketing everything else.
That shit is nothing.
But
That's
you have to
robbery.
pay back
So you
from your...
It makes that conversation that Fat Joe's having about having an album that was for how many years? It was for 20 years later. He still owes money on it. When you're dealing with the funny math that he was alluding to, this is how situations like that can happen. And this is something that's being done more recently because Joyner Lucas has only been out for, X amount of years. The business is what the business is, but it's just nasty that this is... People are still running fast as they can head first into these opportunities or these situations thinking that they're the same. I don't know. It's just, it's discouraging to hear.
Yeah, the whole time. You can make $500,000 and you're still in debt.
Right.
Robbery.
Right? So you're in debt the whole time. So the further we go along, they get to do like the damage control, right? So we're unhappy. He goes, we're gonna do a meeting. We go into the meeting. I'm unhappy about this. We have a list. We're gonna make it right. They call the team in. Rah! Screams at everybody. Cool, all right. Everything's gonna be right? Everything's gonna be right?
Hold on. Before this team gets in the office, the CEO goes out and says, look, I'm gonna yell at y'all real quick. Just take it, it's not personal.
Yo, it's crazy. I'm sitting. Mind you, I'm sitting in the other room. So like, make sure they can hear it.
What the fuck did I tell you guys? Yeah, that's
so the conference room.
So you as an artist go complain to your label and you come with some very reasonable complaints. Instead of actually changing the things, he said that I guess they've experienced where an exec would go talk to his staff beforehand and let them know like, hey, I got to do a little bit of a show. To show Joyner Lucas that we're really going in for him, but don't take anything personal. And then get to yelling at these folks as if he's really going to bat for the artist.
Reenactment.
Put them in the side room
Yeah.
so they can hear what we're saying to 30 people in there. Yeah. And it's like, who the fuck is doing this? Crazy. Like the talk
nasty.
is nuts. Like when I saw that Dane video, it was like that.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but they were going wild in there. And I'm like, Oh, they mean business. Okay, they get it. They understand the frustration. They understand they're gonna pay their shit on time. They understand like they're gonna build into the Jordan Lucas business a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So we leave. What happens?
Took me a minute to realize that.
Hold on, what happens? Another 6 months pass, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So now you in the deal a whole year.
So y'all thought that argument was serious?
Yeah, we thought it was real.
They don't have any
really.
reason to believe it's
Yo,
not.
as soon as we left the-
You
as soon
screaming
as
at 30 people.
As soon as we left the office, it was like, yo, Drew, they really.
They get it now. Like, finally.
Yo, Drew, they really care, nigga.
Yo, that's nasty.
It really
That
cares.
shit
crazy.
They really fuck with us. They just fucked up that a couple times, but they gonna get it together, Drew.
See, so the questions that people had for a Fat Joe, they were asking, man, why does it take you 12 years to actually tell us this? Because they're finding out in real time. These two folks who have figured out, these two intelligent human beings who have figured out how to do things independently are in an environment where it's like, all right, we're trusting because you chose to put the investment into it, because we got a contract in front of us, because now the exec is yelling at people at the top of his lungs. You sound just as passionate about our project as we are about it. Hey, we trust you. You know how long this process can go on? Especially if you want it to work out. Especially if you want it to work out as an artist. This could be years. And then it's not like you're just hitting 1,000. You make mistakes as well. And when you have mistakes, you're now looking at it like, oh, you know what? I'll take that L. That was on me this time. This can be literal years in the process.
Anyway, so check. So check.
Let's just wait it out.
So check. So joining now. We're a year in, and he's like, bro, this is crazy. Like nothing's changing. He needed a first-class flight to go shoot Lucky You with Eminem in Detroit.
Oh yeah, they told me no.
The label told you no?
The label
Bro.
told me no.
Wow.
Listen, he about to shoot. That's a single. That's top 3 record. You know what I'm saying? That hit top 3 on Billboard. He about to shoot this with M.
It's a move. It's a move that I made. This ain't nothing that they did.
Nothing they did. This is he did it directly with Royce.
You feel me? This is some shit. I built a relationship
Shout
with
out
Marshall.
Royce.
Shout out to my
Royce,
brother
facts.
Royce. I built a relationship directly with Royce, and then we went through Marshall, and, and then I built my own relationship with him, in which we got a record and did the record. And I had to go to Detroit to shoot the video. I had asked Atlantic if they could pay for the first class, because again, I'm not making money at the time. A lot of people think
16%, mind
Yeah.
you. That's fully recoupable. You took the advance in 2016? 16? You shot this in 2018. So that 100K is gone, bro. 2 years.
Yeah. The first thing I did with the 100K is I retired my mom's. I gave her half the shit.
Or a year, whatever, it's
after
gone.
the 100K and the manager get paid out, Shy got his cut, and the fucking lawyer got their cut, and yada, yada, yada. I ended up with like 60 man.
Man, oh man. This shouldn't be new news to anybody who watches this kind of content. I think it is important to get these stories from people who are still active, people who have done this for an X amount of years, because it gives insight of what expectations you should have. I just finished reading a book called Slow Productivity, and it talked about an artist named Jewel, really huge artist in the pop space, who, really did things her own DIY way, even going through that crazy industry. And one thing that she did was she chose not to take her advance. And even her first tour, she chose, instead of using a budget that she would have to, pay back for all these years, she chose to drive around in her own car and kind of fund her way through these tour spots. And it was something that ended up paying off for her when it was time to talk money, because she had more leverage based upon the success that she had. And I really feel like we're entering a space where rappers are not only going to start doing that, even those who are looking to get signed, which is still a crazy thing in my mind of, every deal is not made the same. There are different deals that can be more of a partnership that makes sense. I do feel like we're going to see a next generation, hopefully, of rappers that are making more wiser financial decisions, because it's like, fam, we've never had this much information made available to us. The ability to cross-reference different stories that are talking about the same subject publicly, easily accessible from our phones. You just hope that folks are listening, but we know there exists a lot of people who are blinded by the fame and what the visibility and validation could mean for them. End of the day, DIYers, we know better. DIY. Independence is the way, and I feel like the writing is on the wall, and those who are the most influential in that other space are telling us, go ahead and walk back. Ain't nothing over here. Sound like the money drying up over there. I don't know. You let me know what you think, DIYers. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Don't be greedy. Peace.